Have you ever wanted someone to stay, but the moment they got too close, you started pulling away? Funny, right? You complain that nobody understands you. You wish someone would stay, but when someone actually tries, you become distant. Short replies, late responses, cold behavior. And then one day they leave, and you're left wondering why everyone walks away from you. Maybe the problem isn't that people leave. Maybe the problem is that you keep pushing them away. Not because you hate them, not because you don't care, but because somewhere inside you, you've convinced yourself that getting attached is dangerous. Maybe you've been disappointed before. Maybe someone promised they'd stay forever and didn't. Maybe you trusted the wrong person, and now your mind has created a defense mechanism. It tells you, don't get too close. Don't trust too much. Don't let them see the real you. Because if they leave, at least it won't hurt as much. But here's the truth. Every wall that protects you from pain also protects you from connection. You can't expect people to understand you while hiding every part of yourself. You can't expect deep relationships while keeping everyone at arm's length. And you can't keep testing people to prove they'll stay, because eventually, even good people get tired of proving themselves. The hardest part? Most people who push others away don't even realize they're doing it. They think they're being independent. They think they're protecting their peace. But sometimes it's not peace. Sometimes it's fear wearing a different name. Fear of rejection. Fear of being misunderstood. Fear of caring more than the other person. So instead of risking disappointment, you disconnect first. You leave emotionally before they can leave physically. You act like you don't care. You pretend everything is fine. You tell yourself, I don't need anyone. But deep down, you do. We all do. Humans were never meant to go through life completely alone. Even the strongest people need someone they can talk to, someone they can trust, someone who makes life feel a little lighter. But that connection requires vulnerability. And vulnerability feels uncomfortable because it comes with uncertainty. No guarantee they'll stay. No guarantee they won't hurt you. No guarantee things will work out. But that's the price of every meaningful relationship. If you spend your entire life avoiding that risk, you'll also avoid the love, friendship, and memories that come with it. Think about it. How many people have you lost because they were bad people? And how many did you lose because you never let them get close enough to know you? Sometimes people don't leave because they stopped caring. Sometimes they leave because every time they took a step forward, you took 2 steps back. Every conversation felt like a wall. Every attempt to understand you felt blocked. Every effort to be there for you was met with distance. And after a while, they started believing that maybe you just didn't want them there. The truth is, people can't read minds. They don't know you're scared. They don't know you're overthinking. They don't know you're fighting battles inside your head. All they see is what you show them. And if all you show is distance, distance is what they'll eventually give back. That's why healing isn't learning how to stop caring. It's learning how to care without constantly expecting the worst. It's learning that not everyone who enters your life is planning to leave. And it's understanding that being hurt once doesn't mean everyone will hurt you. Because if you keep treating every new person like they're responsible for your past, you'll never give them a fair chance to become part of your future. And maybe that's the question you need to ask yourself tonight. Am I protecting my heart, or am I imprisoning it? Because there's a difference. Protecting your heart means having boundaries. Imprisoning it means never letting anyone in. One helps you grow, the other keeps you stuck. The sad thing is, loneliness doesn't always come from having nobody around you. Sometimes it comes from refusing to let the right people get close. You can sit in a room full of friends and still feel alone. You can have people who genuinely care about you and still feel disconnected. Not because they aren't trying, but because you've become so used to hiding that being understood feels unfamiliar. And what feels unfamiliar often feels unsafe. So you retreat, again and again and again. Until one day, you realize you've spent years waiting for connection while running from it at the same time. The people who belong in your life won't expect perfection. They won't expect you to have everything figured out, but they do need a chance. A chance to know the real you, a chance to understand your fears, a chance to stay. Because not everyone is your past, not everyone is a lesson, and not everyone is temporary. Sometimes the thing you're looking for is already standing at the door. You just have to stop pushing it away. But here's something nobody talks about. Sometimes pushing people away becomes a habit, not a decision, a habit. You stop replying because that's what you've always done. You avoid difficult conversations because that's what feels comfortable. You keep everything to yourself because you've convinced yourself nobody would understand anyway. And after a while, it becomes your normal. But just because something feels normal doesn't mean it's healthy. You weren't meant to carry every burden alone. You weren't meant to overthink every text, every interaction, every relationship. And you definitely weren't meant to spend your life wondering what would have happened if you had just opened up a little more. Because the reality is, most relationships don't end because of one big mistake. They end because of 1,000 small moments. The message you never sent, the feeling you never expressed, the apology you never gave, the conversation you kept postponing, the effort you assumed wasn't necessary. And one day, the distance becomes bigger than the connection. That's why growth isn't becoming colder. Growth isn't acting like you don't need anyone. Growth is learning how to communicate, learning how to trust again, learning how to say, I'm struggling, I miss you, I care about you, I don't want to lose this connection. Because the strongest people aren't the ones who never need others. They're the ones brave enough to let others see who they really are. And maybe that's your sign today. Stop assuming everyone will leave. Stop writing endings before the story even begins. Give people a chance to prove they're different. And give yourself a chance to experience a connection that isn't built on fear. Because sometimes, the life you're waiting for starts the moment you stop pushing it away. And one last thing. If someone keeps trying to understand you, don't make them fight a battle they never created. Don't punish new people for old wounds. Don't make someone pay the price for a heartbreak they had nothing to do with. Because eventually, even the most patient people get exhausted. Not because they stopped caring, but because they feel unwanted. A lot of people say, if they really cared, they'd stay. But relationships don't work like that. Care needs effort from both sides. Understanding needs effort from both sides. Connection needs effort from both sides. You can't keep locking every door and then wonder why nobody comes inside. At some point, healing means taking responsibility. Not for what happened to you, but for what happens next. You can't change the people who hurt you. You can't rewrite the past. But you can decide whether your past gets to control your future. You can decide whether fear keeps making your choices, or whether you're finally going to choose something different. Because maybe the people you've been waiting for aren't far away. Maybe they've been there all along, waiting for you to stop hiding, waiting for you to stop assuming the worst, waiting for you to believe that not every goodbye is inevitable. And if this message finds you at the right time, text the person you've been meaning to text. Have the conversation you've been avoiding. Tell people what they mean to you while you still can. Because connections don't disappear overnight. They fade when they're never given a chance to grow. And sometimes, the strongest thing you can do isn't pushing people away. It's allowing the right people to stay. So if you've been pushing people away, ask yourself why. Is it because they deserve it? Or is it because you're afraid of what might happen if they stay? Because the truth is, not everyone who enters your life is there to hurt you. Some people arrive to teach you. Some arrive to challenge you. And a few arrive to stay. But you'll never know which one they are if you keep closing the door before they get the chance. So stop running from every connection. Stop assuming every story ends the same way. And stop letting your past decide who gets access to your future. Because one day, the person you've been waiting for might finally show up. And it would be a shame if fear made you lose them before the story even began.